your headlines for tonight: impeachment complaint filed against President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.
Former Public Works Secretary Manuel Bonoan back in the Philippines and faces Senate probe over flood control mess.
Malampaya East 1 natural gas discovered after more than a decade, according to the chief executive.
The Armed Forces of the Philippines remains committed to transparency, accountability over COA's flag 201 million pesos unliquefied cash advances.
And US President Donald Trump threatens tariff on 8 European countries over Greenland bid. Good evening, bringing the latest news for tonight. I am ALVIN.
And I am KRIZZA Lopez. This is Eurotv News. To read the details in our broadcast. An impeachment complaint has been filed against President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. at the House of Representatives, raising serious allegations of grave constitutional violations and betrayal of public trust.
Following this, Malacanang acknowledged that the move is part of the democratic process, even as the chief executive continues to carry out his duties. Here's the report.
An impeachment complaint was filed against President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. at the House of Representatives on Monday. The complaint was filed by attorney Andre De Jesus and endorsed by Pusong Pinoy Party List Representative Jet Nisay, who was also among those earlier endorsed by the Independent Commission for Infrastructure to face graft and malversation charges. President Marcos is facing impeachment for graft and corruption, culpable violation of the Constitution, and betrayal of public trust in connection to the arrest of former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte in 2025, as well as the president's alleged failure to veto the unprogrammed appropriation. The president is also being linked to alleged ghost flood control projects that surfaced last year. Attorney De Jesus further claimed that Marcos is unfit to serve as president due to an alleged addiction, which he said was revealed by the president's sister, Senator Amy Marcos. In response, Malacanang said that filing of an impeachment complaint is part of the democratic process. The palace said it respects the process and trusts the Congress to carry out its mandate with integrity and fidelity to the law. Despite the complaint and as the process moves forward, Malacanang said President Marcos continues to work to ensure that public services remain uninterrupted and that government efforts to improve the lives of Filipinos continue. Meanwhile, the Koalisyong Makabayan stressed that at a time when no government agency has investigated Marcos's alleged involvement in these impeachable acts, impeachment becomes a crucial avenue for accountability. This is KRIZZA Lopez for Eurotv News.
Former Public Works Secretary Manuel Bonoan has returned to the Philippines ahead of the schedule to face the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee amid the ongoing flood control probe and a new plunder case filed against him. Mia Layagin has the report.
Former Department of Public Works and Highways Secretary Manuel Bonoan returns to the Philippines after almost 3 months overseas. In a report, the Bureau of Immigration confirmed that Bonoan arrived at Naiya on Sunday morning via a flight from Taipei and has no travel companion. November last year, when Bonoan left the Philippines to accompany his wife in a medical procedure in the US, he was supposedly back by December 17 but did not actually return. Before he left, Bonoan was placed at BI's lookout bulletin order following Justice Department's order to monitor his travels amid being implicated in the flood control mess. On Friday, however, Philippine Ambassador to Washington Jose Manuel Romualdez confirmed that Bonoan is still in the US and has no intentions to hide. He also said that the former secretary requested for another month to stay abroad and promised to return by February 15. Bonoan is among the personalities subpoenaed by the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee as it resumed its investigation on the flood control scandal on Monday, January 19. The committee threatened that Bonoan's absence to the probe may lead to a contempt citation and an arrest warrant. Despite the February 15 promise to return, Bonoan went back a month ahead, personally facing the committee on Monday. During the hearing, Bonoan clarified and answered accusations of Senate President Pro Tempore and Blue Ribbon Committee Chairman Panfilo Ping Lacson over giving the President wrong grade coordinates of flood control projects. Lacson noted this as things that misled the President.
There is actually a difference between MIPS coordinates and as-stake plant coordinates, Mr. Chair. Admittedly, I think, if I remember right, I also discussed this a little bit with the President when I reported actually where the ghost projects are. Because I think what has been submitted are coordinates of already completed projects before. So there are some different.
Bonoan emphasized that only the potential ghost projects in Bulacan were what he reported to the President, with no similar reports or issues from other regions. He added that the data were from the consolidated reports from late DPWH Undersecretary Catalina Cabral.
The only potential ghost projects that I reported to him are those projects that were reported to me dito sa may Bulacan First Engineering District. Wala na po. When I learned about the report that there were actually about 421 potential ghost projects, it's already a mind-boggling information to me. I have never anything about this kind of ghost projects. Kasi if there would be that many ghost projects, I was wondering why would this not been naipaano na ng COA sa departamento? Hindi na ba because yearly, Mr. Chairman, the COA will have to submit to us actually their observation report. And 421 potential ghost projects, as reported, is really mind-boggling to me.
He also said that upon knowing differences in the coordinates, he reported it to the President, including the reports of ghost flood control projects. Bonoan further noted that he had no access or information on the succeeding reports of DPWH after he resigned on September. Meanwhile, Bonoan is among the respondents of a new plunder case filed with the National Bureau of Investigation, DOJ reported. This is Mila Yagin for Eurotv News.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. announced a major breakthrough in the country's energy sector with the discovery of a new natural gas reservoir near the Malampaya field. The find is expected to significantly boost power supply and help secure the nation's energy in the coming years. More from this report. In a historic discovery, an estimated of 98 billion cubic feet of natural gas has been found near Malampaya field, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. announced this Monday.
Everyone that for the first time in over a decade, a significant natural gas discovery has been made.
The newly discovered natural gas reservoir, known as Malampaya East 1 or MAE-1, is located about 5 kilometers from the main Malampaya field. The 98 billion cubic feet of gas is equivalent to more than 14 billion kilowatt hours of electricity in 1 year. According to President Marcos, MAE-1 can supply electricity to over 5.7 million households, 9,500 buildings, or nearly 200,000 schools annually.
Taon, ibig sabihin, makakapag-supply ito ng kuryente sa mahigit 5.7 milyong kabahayan, 9,500 na gusali o halos 200,000 paaralan sa loob ng isang taon.
The president said the discovery of natural gas near Malampaya will significantly help sustain the field's capacity to supply gas to the country in the coming years, based on initial testing conducted by the Prime Energy-led consortium together with UC18, PNOC Exploration Corporation, and Prime Oil and Gas Incorporated. MAE-1 has strong potential with an estimated production capacity of 60 million cubic feet per day.
Years to come. Initial testing showed that the well flowed at 60 million cubic feet per day. This indicates that the well has the potential to produce even more, confirming it is a high productivity resource comparable to the original Malampaya well.
Aside from natural gas, condensate, a high-value liquid fuel, was also discovered at the MAE-1 site.
Liquid fuel. This additional resource can help support the government's efforts for the stabilization of our power system.
In May 2023, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. signed the renewal agreement for Malampaya Service Contract 38, extending its operations until February 22, 2039. MAE-1 is only the first well under the broader Malampaya Phase 4 drilling campaign, which also includes the Camago 2 and Bagong Pag-asa wells. Next steps for the project include the completion and testing of Camago 3, as well as the Pag-asa exploration well, developments expected to further expand Malampaya's capacity as the country's primary source of natural gas.
This is KRIZZA Lopez for Eurotv News.
The Armed Forces of the Philippines has reiterated its commitment to transparency and accountability following a commission and audit report flagging millions of pesos in unliquidated cash advances and unauthorized bank accounts. The AFP said corrective measures are already in place to recover the funds and tighten financial controls. More from this report.
The Armed Forces of the Philippines has reaffirmed its commitment to transparency, accountability, and strict implementation of governing policies in spending of funds. This is in line with the report released by the Commission and Audit that found 201.86 million pesos unliquidated cash advances and 72.89 million pesos unauthorized bank accounts monitored during the 2024 audit. The COA report also revealed that 82.36% of this amount were past due, while other advances remains unsettled for as long as 43 years. The COA also warned that the said fund may have been used for assets and expenses that were misstated. According to the AFP's response, the armed forces have already implemented corrective measures, including withholding the salaries of the accountable officials, issuing demand letters, and pursues administrative and legal remedies to those with outstanding obligations under the AFP Accounting Center and AFP Finance Center. The AFP also assured to continue its effort to track the accountable officials who are no longer in service to recover the funds in pursuance of the COA's directives. The Armed Forces Management is also ensuring that the financial system, internal controls, and accountability mechanism are further tightened to prevent recurrence and to maintain the reform that supports the welfare and well-being of the AFP personnel. This is ALVIN PELOBELLO for Eurotv News.
Meanwhile, the Philippine National Police says it will not bar its personnel from voluntarily cooperating with the International Criminal Court's ongoing investigation into former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte's war on drugs. Details from Henry Nicolas.
The Philippine National Police has responded to the International Criminal Court's calls to testify in the ongoing proceedings against former President Rodrigo Duterte. In addition to the PNP, the ICC is also urging the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency and the National Bureau of Investigation or NBI to cooperate with their investigation into alleged crimes against humanity during the former president's war on drugs. In a statement, the PNP clarified that they will not prevent any of the members from cooperating with the ICC, noting that the call is not a direct order from the court. PNP spokesperson Brigadier General Randolph Tuanio said on Monday that the ICC's call is not a mandate but rather a voluntary opportunity for members who wish to testify. He added that any decision to testify would be a personal legal decision and the organization respects due process and legal rights. Duterte has repeatedly denied ordering unlawful killings and has said the anti-drug campaign was a legitimate law enforcement effort aimed at dismantling criminal networks and reducing crime. Meanwhile, ICC Assistant to Counsel Attorney Cristina Conti emphasized that the call for additional witnesses does not indicate that the evidence against the former president is weak. Instead, she explained that it demonstrates the thoroughness of the investigation and a continuous search for the truth. This is Henry Nicolas for Eurotv News.
DPWH Secretary Vince Dizon voiced frustration after personally experiencing a bridge shake during an inspection of the Mauca Bridge in Camarines Sur, prompting an immediate order for assessment and full rehabilitation due to the safety concerns. Shai Morales tells us more.
Department of Public Works and Highways or DPWH Secretary Vince Dizon expressed his dismay and frustration during an inspection of the Mauca Bridge along Andaya Highway in Lupi, Camarines Sur.
Oh my gosh!
That was Dizon's reaction as he and other DPWH staff felt the bridge shake after a large truck loaded with metal passed by. The inspection took place despite the inclement weather visible in the video. Dizon added that he felt the bridge vibrate even when other smaller vehicles passed. Consequently, the secretary directed the agency to immediately assess and conduct rehabilitation of the structure, citing the potential danger to motorists and local residents. The DPWH began inspecting highways in Camarines Sur and Quezon Province on January 16 to assess their condition ahead of a scheduled large-scale rehabilitation. This includes the Maharlika Highway in Quezon Province and Rolando A. Andaya Highway in Camarines Sur. Dizon also ordered the agency to stop using patchwork or band-aid solutions for infrastructures and instead begin an immediate and full rehabilitation before the Holy Week starts. This is Shai Morales reporting for Eurotv News.
Dengue infections in Quezon City are on the rise with over 200 cases reported so far this January, prompting local authorities to step up monitoring and prevention efforts. Catherine Landicho has more.
Dengue cases in Quezon City have continued to rise with more than 200 infections recorded so far this year. Based on the data from the Quezon City Epidemiology and Surveillance Division, a total of 218 dengue cases were reported from January 1 to January 15. According to the Quezon City local government units, individuals aged 20 years old and below remain the most affected group, accounting for 44 cases. District 2 recorded the highest number of dengue cases, with 25 cases or about 40% of the total. No dengue-related deaths have been recorded in the city so far this year. Despite the increase, the QCLGU noted that the current number of the cases is 71% lower compared to the number of dengue cases recorded during the same period in 2025. This is surveillance officer in Quezon City continued to conduct inspection and monitoring of new dengue cases, particularly in Barangay Batasan Hills in District 2 as well as Barangay Matandang, Balara, Lipis, and Loyola Heights in District 3. Residents are reminded to keep their surroundings clean and eliminate possible mosquito breeding to prevent dengue. The public is also advised to immediately consult their local health centers if they experience dengue symptoms to prevent the illness from progressing to severe dengue. This is Catherine Landicho for Eurotv News.
Meanwhile, the Department of Health has rolled out phase 1 of its nationwide measles vaccination drive in Mindanao, aiming to protect millions of young children from a highly contagious and potentially deadly disease. Vanessa Cleophas with the report.
The Department of Health or DOH has begun phase 1 of the nationwide measles vaccination across Mindanao, which will be immediately followed in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao or BARM. This phase will run until February 13 and target children aged 6 months to 5 years. This is part of the department's measles rubella supplemental immunization activity aimed at vaccinating over 11 million children nationwide who have not yet been vaccinated or whose measles vaccination is incomplete. According to Health Secretary Ted Herbosa, they are bringing the vaccines closer to local communities to prevent early deaths among children. He emphasized that measles is deadly and one child with measles can infect up to 16 other children, which if not addressed could lead to their deaths. Based on DOH records, the highest number of measles cases among children last year came from the National Capital Region or NCR, followed by BARM and Calabarzon. Mindanao and BARM were prioritized for vaccination because 2.8 million children in these regions remain unvaccinated, while phase 2 will cover 5.6 million children in Visayas and 1.9 million in Luzon. The DOH aims to achieve a 95% immunization